No one is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not society. If you have failed, if you have lost your job, your money, your marriage, your way, this is your reckoning. You are a man standing in the rubble of what used to be your life. And now comes the decision, will you rebuild or will you rot? This is not a motivational speech wrapped in feel-good quotes. This is a wake-up call for the man who has tasted defeat and still wants to fight, because life in its rawest form does not hand out second chances. It buries you unless you claw your way back up. Every man who has ever built something great has walked through fire. And if you are here burnt, broken, and bitter, you are already on the right path. Because only when everything is stripped away can you see who you really are underneath the mask. Failure has a voice. It whispers, you are not enough. It screams, you are too late. And yet, even in that darkness, there is a flicker, a pulse that says, I am not done yet. That flicker is not hope. It is not luck. It is discipline. It is pain. It is the will to fight when no one else believes in you, not even you. You do not need more motivation. You need a code that turns your regret into fuel, a code that makes pain your permission to rise again, a code that says nobody cares. Work harder. If you are watching this, it is not by accident. This video is the answer to the chaos you are facing right now. This message is the signal you have been waiting for. It will not fix everything overnight, but it will help you find your strength again. It will help you stand back up, sharpen your edge, and become unbreakable. This is for the men who have fallen and are sick of lying on the floor. For the men who know deep inside that the world owes them nothing, but they still have something left to give. It is not about proving others wrong. It is about proving to yourself that you are not done. This is your second life, and it starts the moment you decide to fight like hell for it. There comes a moment when you stand still, look into the mirror, and do not recognize the man staring back. Your eyes are dull, your posture is slouched, your reflection doesn't lie. It shows the truth, and the truth is hard to face. You failed. Somewhere along the way, you let yourself slip. Maybe it was the job you lost, the business that crumbled, the family that fell apart. Or maybe it was more silent, more dangerous, the slow decay of your discipline, your fire, your fight. This is where most men turn away. They avoid the mirror. They drown themselves in distractions, in numbing comfort. They hide from what they have become because facing it feels unbearable. But let me tell you this, that mirror is not your enemy. It is your first weapon. When you can stare directly at your failures, when you can own every bad choice, every missed opportunity, every excuse you told yourself, you become dangerous. Not because you are perfect, but because you are finally honest. There was a man who once had everything: career, family, respect. He lost it all. And for a year, he disappeared. No calls, no answers. He said the hardest part was not losing everything. It was realizing he had done it to himself. But the day he looked in the mirror and said, "This is on me," was the day he started fighting again. You do not rise by denying your downfall. You rise by confronting it with brutal clarity, with no victim mindset, with no lies. Because once you accept that you are the reason you fell, you become the reason you rise. Pain is not the enemy. It is the price of admission. No man ever became great without paying for it in blood, sweat, and suffering. Pain strips away your comfort, your excuses, your soft layers. It brings you face to face with the question that defines your life. Will you keep going or will you fold? There are two kinds of pain. The first destroys you. The second transforms you. The first pain whispers that you are not good enough. It makes you quit, retreat, surrender. The second pain burns, but it sharpens you. It shapes your mindset, your habits, your identity. It makes you stronger, not despite the suffering, but because of it. Most men fear pain. They avoid it at all costs. But the truth is, if you run from it now, it will hunt you later, in the form of regret, in the form of wasted years, in the form of the man you could have been. Look at the greatest. David Goggins ran with broken legs. Usain Bolt trained for 4 years to run for 9 seconds. What they had was not magic. It was willingness to suffer on purpose. That is the price most men refuse to pay. But if you are willing, pain will reward you. It will teach you how to endure, how to fight, how to outlast. It will rewire your brain to stop expecting comfort and start demanding results. Pain does not ask if you are ready. It shows up, and you either accept its challenge or you remain the same. You want to change. You want to rise. You want to feel alive again. Then walk straight into the fire. That is where the man you are meant to become is waiting. Discipline is not a tool. It is a belief system, a personal religion. When the motivation fades, when the cheers go silent, when no one is watching, discipline is what remains. It is the silent promise you make to yourself and keep even when everything else is falling apart. Most men wait to feel ready. They wait for the mood, the right day, the perfect moment. But discipline does not care about your feelings. Discipline is what you do when you feel nothing. It is getting up at 5 in the morning when you slept only 3 hours. It is hitting the gym when your body screams no. It is choosing the hard path because it builds the stronger man. You must build discipline like you build muscle, daily, repeatedly, without fail. You start with small habits. Wake up at the same time. Make your bed. Do the hard thing first. Choose the steak instead of the donut. Train when others rest. Speak the truth when it's inconvenient. These are not just tasks. These are rituals of transformation. Every time you follow through on a commitment, you add a brick to your fortress. Every time you quit, you punch a hole in it. Over time, discipline becomes your identity. You no longer need reminders. You simply do the work because that is who you are now. There will be days when everything feels pointless, when no results show, when progress seems invisible. That is where most give up. But if you stay consistent, even when there is no applause, your breakthrough is loading, quietly, steadily. Discipline does not make your life easier. It makes you stronger. And the stronger you become, the less you fear the storms ahead. Worship discipline. Protect it. Let it guide your thoughts, your choices, your life. Because in the end, the disciplined man does not need luck. He does not need motivation. He creates his own future. At some point, you must learn to fight alone. There will be no applause, no encouragement, no one to tell you to keep going, just silence, and the sound of your own breath as you grind through the darkness. This is the moment that makes or breaks most men. They expect support. They want recognition. But warriors are not born in comfort. They are forged in isolation. You train while others sleep. You read while others scroll. You work while others party. And you do it not for attention, but because you made a promise to yourself. There was a man who used to be a rising star. Then he lost everything: fame, fortune, respect. For years, nobody heard his name. They thought he was done. But in those silent years, he rebuilt quietly. Every morning before the sun, every night when no one was watching, he did not announce his comeback. He lived it. When he returned, he was stronger than ever, not just physically, mentally, spiritually. And the world saw a man who had been in war with himself and had won. Being alone is not weakness. It is training ground for greatness. The voices in your head will try to convince you to quit. But that is exactly when you need to keep moving. That voice that tells you to take it easy, skip today, rest tomorrow, is the enemy. You will be misunderstood. You will be mocked. But you must stay the course. Because the man who keeps moving when no one believes in him becomes unstoppable when the world finally sees him. So if you are alone right now, embrace it. It is not a punishment. It is preparation. For the day when silence turns into respect, when solitude becomes strength, and when your war becomes your legacy. Fear is not your enemy. It is your compass. Wherever you feel the most hesitation, that is exactly where you need to go. Fear reveals the places you avoid the conversations, you delay the actions, you postpone. And within those moments lies the doorway to your next level. Most men let fear paralyze them. They wait for courage to arrive, but courage does not come first. Action does. You act and courage follows. You move and fear becomes fuel. There is something in your life right now you are avoiding. Maybe it is leaving that dead-end job, starting that business, making that phone call, speaking your truth. Whatever it is, you know it. It lives in your chest, tightening every time you think about it. You need to stop running from it. You need to turn and face it. Write it down. Say it out loud, and then take one step straight into it. Because every time you avoid fear, you strengthen it. But every time you confront it, you shrink it. Think about the greatest victories in your life. They all had fear at the gate, but you walked through anyway. That is what made them victories. It is not winning without fear that builds you. It is doing it in spite of fear. There was a time I was terrified of failure. I set small goals because they felt safe, but they kept me small. The moment I started setting goals that scared me was the moment I started growing. Real growth lives outside your comfort zone. Real men build their lives in the unknown. Fear will always be there. The difference is whether it drives you forward or holds you back. When you use it as fuel, it sharpens your focus. It wakes you up early. It keeps you hungry, and it makes the taste of victory so much sweeter. So do not wait for fear to leave. It is not going anywhere. Let it ride with you. Let it push you. Let it prove you are still alive. You have heard the message. Now you face the mirror once again. This time, you do not flinch. You do not turn away because you know the truth. The man you want to become is not a fantasy. He is built in silence, in suffering, in the fire of daily discipline. You have fallen, but you are not broken. You are rebuilding, one choice at a time, one step at a time. You are learning to trust the grind, to love the process, to welcome the pain that shapes you. And in that process, you are becoming dangerous, not loud, not flashy, just relentless, just focused, just determined to never be that man who gave up on himself again. There is no applause for showing up in the dark. There is no reward for doing the work when no one is watching. But those moments are where greatness is born. 1 year from now, who will you be? That question should haunt you because you know it is coming, that day of reckoning. And the answer will depend on what you do starting today. So wake up, move, train, speak less, do more. Let every scar become proof that you did not quit, that you chose to fight. This is your second chance, your second life, and it begins when you stop waiting. Nobody cares. Work harder. So stop waiting for the perfect time. It will never come. Stop waiting for the fear to disappear. It will always whisper. Stop waiting for permission, applause, or signs. You already have everything you need. The man you are becoming is forged in silence, not in spotlight. So keep going. Keep building. Keep showing up even when your mind screams to quit. Because every rep, every rejection, every lonely morning is carving something unstoppable inside you. The world may not see it yet, but you will soon. And when that day comes, you will not need validation. You will know I earned this.